There are three weird, or contradictory actually, sexual secrets to union for twin flames. And they are weird when you would hear them in a second, but when you get used to them and you sink into that union consciousness that twin flames are really about because it makes it come true, you start to understand that it's not weird at all. But they might sound weird right now. Well, let's check that out if that is so, and give me a reaction with a comment below if it feels weird to you. 1. You can do sexual magic to be able to get your union. Did you know that? Sexual magic is making use of the possibility of the power of your sexual energy that is always here, that makes you feel at home, yourself. It's a huge expression of who you at the core are. And that energy has such a longing inside of it to be answered, to be met in a very intimate way. And you have that. You can feel it. And that's not only like a very abstract, like, ooh, it's so spiritual, we're all in the clouds, and it's just so invisible. And no, it's actually very much able to be felt in the body, right here, right now, in just the being on earth and the juiciness of it, and the desire of it, and the longing of it, and the pleasure of it, and the true soul pleasure of it. Because when you start to approach it with the sexual magic that is connected to divinely communicating with God, which is very well possible, you just start to connect it with your heart's intimacy, your heart's desires, and the true core of that, which must connect you with your true twin flame, but not only with like, oh, far away in the clouds, twin flame. No, with the twin flame that is in the flesh. Because that's where that longing, that feeling, that juicy feeling that is very physical was felt by you. And it can also be answered in the flesh by your true twin flame. So that is why sexual magic is truly beyond juicy. It's soul pleasurable. It is an entrance. It's a path to your true twin flame. I actually have a whole course about that. It's an e-course. You can already buy it. Please do so. You'll help yourself. Go to my website and check it out. You'll find it under publications. Because it's a web course, right? This truly exists. Do we still do the correct core twin flame inner work with the key tool in which you need to turn everything around? Yes. But the doing of that is like soaked into this atmosphere of the juiciness. It's a specific entrance to it that has unique things to offer. You'll learn a lot from it. So you can absolutely do that. And I recommend that. Feel your own sexual energy. Be with the soul-connected pleasure of it. Take times out of your week, month, year, day to be with that, just on your own, with that powerful sexual magic. And enjoy it. It will bring your twin flame closer. But we also have two. Let's see if it gets weirder. Union sexual magic will eventually end up in the sexual aspect being less important. What? You know, we as human beings, we're just so incredibly mesmerized by the power of sexuality. And if anyone had that in it, like almost too much of a capacity, then it was me. So I know everything about that, how incredibly powerful that is, and how it sucks you in, and how deep you feel that, and how it touches you in every aspect, and how you want to have that answered in the flesh, in the material world, in daily life, in the body. So big, such a big desire. It's like huge. That it can indeed almost be too much sometimes. For me, personally, I came to know that the deeper I went into the sexual magic with the true twin flame, which also includes the true twin flame inner work, because we only speak about sexual magic connected to the true twin flame, because that's the only true way that it can exist. I know that very many people do something that may sound like it, but they do something very different, and it's definitely not connected to the divine, and thus also not to your true twin flame. So please be aware and don't just do something. But what I offer is imbued with the right attitude and the right energy. So please, if you want to do something like that, go to my course. It's about a lot more than only sexuality in the narrow sense, in the bedroom sense. It's also about your identity, about who you are, about truly stepping into that power and strength and soul pleasure that expresses itself in so many other topics than just an orgasm. Well, there you go. Well, haven't I just sort of implied what number 2 actually said in a couple sentences that seem to go everywhere? But actually it's about it ends up in a sexual aspect being less important, because there's so many other identity forming and juicy aspects of life in which you can express that and feel that and be that, and not only in your orgasm with your sexual organs. And that starts to come alive. Making what it may have started out as seemingly relatively of less importance. And what I was also trying to say at the same time was, like, for me personally, it was also too much looking back. You know, when I went deeper into everything that I now offer to you in the Sexual Magic e-course and whatnot, and going deeper with actual twin flame inner work, coming to the union consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union, and being in contact with my true twin flame on and on by receiving the healing qualities of that, and now we're building a life together. I saw gradually, when the healing truly had taken place, that looking back, it was a little bit too much in my experience, because I had been sexually assaulted as a child. Like, that energy in me was completely out of order, but in like a subtle way, in a sense. But actually really not subtle, you know. It was all over the place because I was assaulted. There was like a wound in that area that was huge. And one of the effects of that was that it was almost too much. That it was too much. Which, like, psychologically, like, wasn't my fault. But on the soul level, I needed to look that in the eye and heal that myself nevertheless, because I am responsible. So that was also, like, less important in a sense than it seemed at first, because that was just a result of being assaulted. Sexually assaulted during my childhood, continually, all the time. in my family, you know. So that was like integrated into like, but this is the idea of sexuality, I guess, because that was like all the time was present. So it just fucks you up, you know, in your head, in your psychology. That's what I mean. I was just traumatized, okay? So I'm not saying that's for you the case. I'm just giving you an example of how that can go. And that was, of course, in my psychology, but then it was also like unconsciously in how you deal with your sexual energy. And as a result, also with sexuality in the narrow sense and with like relationships and whatnot. It just translates into all of that in a wrong way. When you do the sexual magic correctly, eventually you will experience that it's completely and utterly about the heart and about intimacy in the heart. Your heart becomes healed. You'll feel that when you start to feel what it is truly about. The purity of that experience, of what it truly is about, takes precedence over any over-the-top expression of it in any field of daily life. Because that experience in the heart is better than any orgasm. So let's look if it gets even more weird at number 3. When you are deep into the sexual, spiritual nature of union, you experience the need to close it off. What? You must be kidding me. No sex anymore with my twin flame? No, that's not what that means at all. There might be like an ongoing, natural, beautiful sex life with your true twin flame. On and on. Just as an everyday secret, that is the norm. That is like the physical intimacy of your shared heart space. That just takes place on and on all the time. Very normal. Because that's who you are. That's your prerogative to experience that together. That's what being a twin flame is. That's what being in harmonious twin flame union with your true twin flame is. But it's not something that is too much anymore. It's not something that is all over the place anymore. It's not something that is being wounded anymore. It's not something that is assaulted anymore. There's no perpetrator and no victim anymore, one way or the other. There is no desire to experience expressions of that in contexts that are not fit for it anymore. You're not desiring an answer to it to a pathological degree anymore, because the answer is already given and you've already accepted it. You're already married to the answer. You're already there. It's already complete. And of course you experience that in like a on and off all the time with your true twin flame. But you actually make sure that it like stays in this beautiful boundaried union. And you're not going to give that away anymore on all kinds of places. And even inside your union, you're going to deal with it in a way that the sacredness of it asks of you. And in a sense, you close it off because you are honoring the sacredness of that sexual magic bubble. Very different, perhaps, than you would have thought. That's how you will experience what will happen on that journey with you with twin flame sexuality. And the transformation you will undergo in that journey. I hope that helped. Love from Petra.